Welcome to Summon Your Superhuman. Today I'm coming to you from the fitness studio and I have two friends and two young, beautiful guests. We have Rana Hussein and we have Aaliyah Sirengo. So I won't intro too much here. I'd love for you both to just say a quick introduction about yourselves, Rana.
Hi, I'm Rana Hussein and I am 16 years old. I attend St. Michael's College and my business name is Rapid.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Sirengo. I am 17 years old. I go to Nazareth Catholic College and my business name is Code Maisha Flow.
These two special young ladies have a very cool mission apart from school that they do. So Rana, would you please tell us what your business is all about?
So my business is about removing the stigma associated with headscarves, mainly in the Western culture, because people with headscarves on are sees as threat or like danger to the community. And through my business I want to remove that stigma and change perspectives.
Awesome. And Aaliyah?
I eradicate period poverty from our community in Kenya, and I do that by making sustainable sanitary packs that I give out to the girls.
Awesome. Like when I was that age, I was not doing anything as cool or as meaningful as what they're doing here. So Rana, we'll start with you. You know, I guess having grown up wearing headscarves, right? This is like normal for you, right?
Yeah.
But was there a particular moment in time where you triggered this kind of idea to create this business? Like what was the seed for that?
Yeah. So 9th of January was the date. And that was the day I caught the bus to work as usual, but it was early in the morning. And all of people like who go to businesses and like early in the morning, they were on the bus, but it was full. The bus was full, and like I was sitting by myself on my seat, and like this lady came on the bus. And a man like at the back of the bus started screaming, saying, "Oh, you're a threat, you're a terrorist, you don't deserve to be here. I don't know what you're hiding under your scarf." And when the lady got on, he started screaming again. He said, "I'm telling you for your own benefit, don't sit there." And so I just like had to push myself to react in a very respectful way. And I told him I'm actually proud to be wearing my headscarf around like the community, and other people are too, just letting you know. And he got so mad about it, like he didn't expect me to react or like say anything, because I bet like he did it to other people and they didn't even react. So I spoke to the bus driver about it, and like he's suspended from catching public transport. And when he got off, I said, "I hope you find amazing people as I am." And he got so mad because I said that. But yeah.
That's very good of you though, Rana, to say that, you know, especially because he was, you know, not being a very nice person, we'll just say.
Yeah.
So from that experience, obviously you remember the date and everything, so that triggered something for you in starting this business?
Yeah, so I really noticed that like I'm not the only one going through that stigma or discrimination. There are like other people around the country or even around the world experiencing discrimination. So I said, by me starting my Rapid business, this will help remove the stigma associated with the headscarves and will empower people to speak up and stand up for injustice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So and how did you start it? So what was the next step?
So the first step was by simply presenting. I wrote a speech that I presented for a program that me and Aaliyah did, which was Be the Difference. And from that, I like edited my my speech and did it at like 3 events for International Women's Day. And from then, that was the first. I filmed a video of me presenting that speech, and I posted it on. It was the first post on my Instagram page. And then from then, with the support of Susan, which is Aaliyah's mom, I was able to start my business and start promoting it around schools and doing workshops around it.
Very cool, very cool. And
Yeah.
you found people were quite receptive?
Yeah, like some people were really shocked with the story because they thought they were the same. They had the same perspective that, oh, in Australia, we don't have stigma, we don't have racism, we're all good. But when like people hear it, they were a bit shocked about it. Yeah.
Sadly, I'm not shocked, but you know, it is sad that it is a reality.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you've been able to use that occurrence and spread your message, spread your experience to hopefully encourage other people that are faced with that issue to stand up, to, you know, maybe even just no, maybe not even like, you know, you want to start trouble, but just be proud in who you are and your beliefs, and
Yeah.
you know, like what really matters, what we wear.
Yeah.
But so you've had a lot of people like purchasing your headscarves?
Well, I haven't released the headscarves. I'm still working on like the logo and the sewing, so it's coming soon.
You making them?
Yeah, well, with the help of my mom, she's like sewing and I'm purchasing. I'm doing the easy job. And so it's coming soon. It's a surprise.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
look forward to seeing your range.
Thank you.
And your goal behind that, obviously you want to make it, you know, what's the brand about? Like what is the...
So Rapid holds like a lot of meanings. So for example, if you see it in a positive way, Rapid is just basically we're wrapping our heads the same as wrapping a gift. So for example, you like wrap your gift with like love and care and you love it when you do it. So like wrapping our headscarves is basically the same. And when like people wear it, they're as special as the gift. So they should be treated like how people, for example, they get so excited for birthday and like Christmas gifts. They should get excited when they see like people with headscarves on. So yeah.
I love that. I'm glad I asked you that. That's, I mean, that's having significance behind your brand name, your story, which is not just your story, it's other people's story. And then you can obviously let your creative juices flow with everything else that comes from it.
Yeah.
Awesome. You mentioned to me before the interview that next month there is a special date.
Yeah, the 20th of November is International Head Wrap Day. I'll be visiting schools hopefully and presenting my speech again, and I'll be providing them with stickers and ribbons so that they remember the date, and it should be added to the calendar. Yeah.
Brilliant. I didn't even know we had an International Wrap. Head Wrap Day.
Yeah.
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 Is it new?
It's been there, but it wasn't as common as like other significant days.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're about to make it popular.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I may have to get a head wrap for myself.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll transition over to you, Aaliyah. What you're doing is fantastic. I truly believe that it's such a very cool cause and necessary. You know, so not a lot of people know that there are still many countries, many places in the world where they don't have access to clean water and things like that, but also women aren't fortunate enough to have access to sanitary items, which is just absurd really when you think about it, right? Because like we don't have a choice. We get our menstruation every month, you know, if you're a reproductive age range, but there are so many women out there that don't have that luxury. But please tell us, like, how did this all start for you?
It's actually kind of like a side thing because my family and I built 2 schools in resource poor communities in 2019, and within that we have a dance troupe where kids from our community can come together to learn how to play the drums, learn how to sing, learn how to dance, all that stuff. And because I'm at school, so I can't physically be there many times, so my family just went without me, and I was like, oh, this is fine, but I never really had like a purpose in that school. And then in 2019 we went over there and I noticed that some girls weren't showing up, and I was like, okay, this is kind of an issue. And so I asked someone about it, and they were like, oh, there's another problem. And it was, yeah, they don't have access to sanitary products, and they had to stay back because of their periods. And I was like, well, let's do something about it. So I did. And now it's a project I'm doing in Kenya.
That's very cool. And just to reiterate on that point, when in these places in the world that, you know, it's not just Kenya, it's a lot of other places. And when women get their period, they basically stay home. They don't go to school. They don't go to dance troupe classes. They don't go to any, they literally, they stay home because, you know, otherwise it's embarrassing, and, you know, like they don't want to bleed everywhere, and for lack of trying to paint the picture. But okay, so you saw a problem. You know, you're like, hang on a second, we were doing this really cool things for you, you know, and they're not able to come, not because they don't want to come, but they cannot.
Yeah, they can't.
And so what was the next step there from that seed for you?
I told my mom, and I was like, what can I do?
Yeah.
And yeah, as Rana said, we were doing this Be the Difference program, and at the end you had to make a TED talk. And I was like, I can base it off what I'm doing in Kenya. So I decided to base it on period poverty, which is what was happening in Kenya. And it's sum it up, period poverty is when a large percent of the population doesn't have access to sanitary products. So I was like, oh, all right, so let's do it on that. And I did, and it went much bigger than I thought it would. And from that, I use that same speech and I go around to speaking arrangements in Adelaide. And that concept's called Little Lunches. And I usually do that to raise money to make sustainable sanitary products in Kenya, which I'm still doing now. And yeah, so that's how I found a solution. So at the moment, I'm making packs that I can give out to girls. And I've just noticed that since I started, which was January of this year, actually, I have made and given out 600 packs in our community. So that's 600 girls that can now stay in school for 3 years.
That's 3 years.
Yeah, so the pack lasts in 3 years because it's like reusable and washable.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
that's very cool. So lots to unpack there, because you know. So you did this quote TED talk, right? Which I think is very cool. Your school did that. Be the Difference.
Oh, it wasn't a school.
Oh, it wasn't
program.
a school thing.
It was like a leadership program.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this thing happened in January. Obviously, you were both motivated. You both had this story, and so you said that yours blew up way bigger than you expected. How so?
Well, because now I use it in different ways. Like I thought, oh, I'm going to record it once and never use it again. But now I'm using it in so many different ways that I'm now speaking to my entire year 9 cohort and all the year 9 girls and all that stuff. And that was like huge because I don't like that. I hate talking in front of big groups. And I was like, all right. So, and the message getting out there.
Yeah.
And that's also really shocked me because it's a situation that has so much stigma against it. And it's extremely like, you can't talk about that kind of stuff. So we don't, and it doesn't get solved that way. So now that I'm learning to talk about it, it's blowing up and becoming a good thing.
Or that it is blowing up because you've been able to help so many women, 600 plus women. How many? Yeah, 600?
600 that I give up. So
like over 600 women for 3 years, just based on your efforts. And that's, you know, the year's not even over yet.
Yes.
So very, very cool. So it blew up bigger than you expected. You're also creating a lot of awareness because, you know, even though like there's going to be people that listen to this that are just like, what do you mean there are women in other countries that don't have sanitary products? Like, doesn't everyone have sanitary products? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Maybe is there anything that we can unpack there for people to understand, or do you think we've already kind of covered it?
It's kind of weird. It's a weird concept because yes, it's a thing that women can't control, but they're still being forced to pay for things to help something that they can't control. So it's kind of a weird paradox here. But I don't think people really get how bad it can get. So they don't like, oh, they don't have access to sanitary packs, that's fine. Like, no, it's not fine. It's they don't see the bigger picture of it because they have the periods and then they can't go to school. And then because they can't go to school, they miss at least 180 days of learning because of their periods that they didn't choose to have. So I don't think people see like the huge picture
Yeah.
that's related to period poverty, but
Mm-hmm.
they'll get there. They'll get there.
Yeah, like I mean, even just you saying that 180 days, and I was like, wow, like you know, I've never, obviously you don't hear the maths of it so much. You just
I
think,
can
oh,
put into perspective. So we have 365 days of school, no, of a year, and 800 of those is a missing, missing because of periods. So that's at least 2 terms or 1 semester of school that girls miss. So it's 1 semester behind they are of their male colleagues.
that just makes it even bigger.
Yeah.
Like it just, not only is it, you know, being a woman and having this, you know, this, we can't control it, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're gonna get a period, okay?
Yeah.
And then we miss out on school, and especially in those countries, education is like, it's massive.
Yeah, and they're already in like the lower
Yeah.
population because they're female as well. So
Right. And so 600 sounds like a big number. We're actually talking about, we need to get a lot more packs, like, but we need thousands of
Yeah.
packs to go out, really. So in the area that you're providing packs, like how many more packs would you need to get greater coverage of that?
Well, I think we have more than 2,000 girls in our area with
Mhm.
our one school.
Wow.
So yeah, it's quite a lot,
Needs more.
but we'll get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. And so you're creating the packs here and sending them there?
No, actually, I've employed 2 ladies
Yeah.
in Kenya, so
Okay.
I've given them the job
Cool.
to make the packs,
Even
and
better.
yeah, so they've been there and they'll be altering the design of them to make it more sustainable for
Mhm.
the girls using it, and yeah, it's happening. So yeah, so
Awesome.
everything's made in Kenya.
Yeah.
And yeah, from the packs to the distribution.
It's
Yeah.
even better. You're creating jobs. You're
Yeah.
creating it, you know, with materials based in there, you know, in that country. Like
Yeah.
you're not sending it over. That's perfect. So what's in the packs? What do they consist of?
So the packs are inside are actually 2 shields,
Mhm.
like 2 reusable shields, and they have a little slot in them where we provide 8 reusable liners that they can remove and wash.
Mhm.
And they have underwear in them because we've learned that girls actually don't have underwear in the community that we're in. So we were like, okay, well, that's a problem. So we
Yeah.
added those in. And last is a carry bag and a waterproof bag that can put things in.
Wow. Superhumans. I hope you're listening, because she just told you that there are people in countries that don't have underwear, right? Like that's, you know, we could laugh about that, but it's also, we could
Yeah.
cry about it. That's really sad, isn't it? Okay, so this is all just unraveled for you guys in this year, and this is why I wanted to have these 2, you know, superhuman young students in the making. Like they're going to do some stellar things in their life, and they already are. So let's bring it back to you, Rana. What do you think has been the most challenging part of starting this business, or even starting this journey of sharing your story? And, you know, what's been the biggest challenge for you?
So with me, it was 2 major things. It was, first of all, imposter syndrome, and then lack of confidence. For example, whenever I do things, I'm like, oh, that's not good enough. Like it still needs more effort. It needs more work.
Mhm.
And so before I did like any of the programs, I was like, oh, someone else will do it better, or like someone else will know better than me. I just know a few things. I'm just a year 11 student. How would I know like all the world problems? And so these were like the main 2 challenges that I overcame. But then throughout the business, I learned that not everyone's going to accept the business's mission as I want them to. Some people will just say, oh, they can just say stop it and it will just stop. But it's not actually like that. If people are going through the same thing over and over, it could like affect their mental health and could lead to like very dangerous like and life-threatening situations.
Yeah, for sure. And what you said is actually really common, and it's beautiful that you've been able to overcome that, because imposter syndrome, you know, oh, I'm not good enough, you know,
Yeah.
oh, someone else can do it better than me. Who am I? to do this, to make this mission. You know, I'm only
Yeah.
16 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you just thought, and that understanding that you just mentioned there, that not everyone's going to understand what you're about.
Yeah.
Would you say that there is a correlation between not everyone's going to understand your business and your mission, but the same perspective of not everyone's going to understand you?
Well, sometimes people don't, if like it doesn't happen to them, they're not gonna like feel the same or be like interacted or engaged in this, like for example in the business, because they'll be like, oh, they're just exaggerating about it, or they're just like adding their own spices or like something like that. So that kind of affects the way people see like problems. Instead of like solving it and like working with it, they're just avoiding it because they just don't want to know like the truth of it.
Yes, truth
Yeah.
is very hard to swallow for many.
Yeah.
But I commend you for really pushing forward with that, and you know, you'll see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
You're planting the seeds, you're sharing your story. You don't know who's going to hear this and hear other places you've shared it, and who you're going to motivate.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah. Have you had instances that already, like have people reached out to you and said like, I really, you know, thanks for sharing that, like I have had that similar experience?
Yeah. Old scholars from my school, like they messaged me about like the work I'm doing and how they love it. And one of my friends who's in like second year of uni or third year of uni, she messaged me about how she saw my speech on the Red Cross newsletter, and she was so shocked. She was like, I've never read the newsletter, but they said, oh, this one is special, you have to read it, we have like different stories, interesting stories. And she was like, when I read it, I was about to cry, because I was like the shy girl from like year 8 camp has changed to like a really powerful person who's ready to make a change and like ready for a challenge. So yeah.
Yeah, you are definitely going to inspire and give other people that have experienced and are experiencing what you are in everyday life, you know, that courage. So that's awesome what you're doing.
Thank you.
So Aaliyah, what about you? What's been the biggest challenge so far? Has there been a challenge?
There've been quite a few. There've been many challenges. Yeah, so one of them would be my, well, not fear, but my hatred for public speaking. And
here you are again.
Yeah, here I am again. I'm talking about it again. I don't like it. But I have learned, well, I had to learn how to be comfortable in the uncomfortable that I'm feeling. And I just have to learn to overcome it and just go for it, because you never know when that speech is going to go for. Like, you never know if who's listening and who there can make a really big impact on what I'm doing. So just put yourself out there and it will help. And yeah, another reason Rana said was imposter syndrome. I didn't think it was imposter syndrome. I just thought it was just my way of thinking. But because everything's made in Kenya and I'm not really, and mom's doing all like the finance and all the talking back to back, I'm not doing anything. So it's just like, why am I getting all the praise for something I've been doing? So yeah, that was another one that was kind of, well, not annoying, but is hard to oversee. And yeah, because there's so many people who are doing things with period poverty, and I was like, they're going to get around to Kenya eventually, so why do I have to do it? So yeah, that's another one.
That does happen a lot. You know, we think that someone else is going to come to the rescue, you know, and this show is all about, you know, everyday superhumans, and so we don't think that we are that everyday superhuman. We think someone else is going to come in and save the day, and I'll just leave it, you know, I'll put the idea out there. And it makes total sense, you know, when you're not completely taking ownership of all the little tasks. But if it wasn't your idea to solve a problem, which is a big problem, then it wouldn't even exist without you, really. You know, you gave the seed life.
Yeah.
All right, so ladies, a question I ask everyone that's been on the show is, what does summoning your superhuman mean to you when you hear that?
Aaliyah can go first.
Well, really, what went through my mind just then was it's superhuman already in you. Like it's in you already. You have to find your purpose that can ignite that spark that's in you. So if you find something you're passionate about, that can help. But you have to build up to that point. Okay, it's a hard question actually.
Yeah.
I think that's a great answer. You think
Just find your purpose, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, find your purpose and everything will fall into place.
Always follow your passion, because you do it better if you're doing things what you're passionate about, instead of like, for example, I'm not passionate about science. Like science is just not my it's not my game. So when I do science, it's like we're not friends. I just don't get it, and I just don't get it. So when I do, like, for example, society and culture, or subjects related to humanity, I genuinely love it, and I do really well on all of the tasks. So follow your passion. Following your passion, basically. I think that's what it is.
We got to make friends with things we don't like, which is, I guess, is where you were going with that.
Yeah.
You call it the villain to our superhuman. It's like we don't thrive in those environments, but we get on with it.
Yeah.
But then when we're really in our element, that's when we can let our superhuman shine.
Yeah.
Now, I don't normally ask this, but I'm super curious. Do you guys already know what you sort of want to do, like when you finish school? Do you think that you're just going to branch off into these businesses that you already have, or are you going to, like, is there other things that you guys have?
Well, when I'm like 25, I want to be Michelle Obama part 2. So
you want to be married to the president? Is that what you're
or the first Muslim Australian Prime Minister. So yeah, Susan always tells me you'll be there. You'll get there one day.
Nice.
She always tells me, "Oh, don't be shy. Just go for it. You never know what the opportunity will take you to." So yeah.
So Susan is an inspiration for you too, huh?
Yeah.
Now everyone knows who Susan is, because by the time this airs, her podcast would have already aired. Hopefully they've listened to that already. So that's wonderful. Yeah, I think, well, one female, another female prime minister we need, and a Muslim one. Cool, that would be very cool. I'll vote for you. What about you, Aaliyah?
I don't know yet. I'm still figuring it out. Maybe vice.
Surely
I'll work with you. Vice prime minister.
Yeah.
Why not? Sky's the limit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or we'll fix this country.
Yes.
Please do. Please do. This is awesome. You guys are awesome, and the fact that thank you for coming and being on this show today, and for just sharing your story and just getting yourselves out there. Okay, well, Aaliyah, that you hate public speaking, but the fact that you just get on with it, I think that's a superhuman power.
Yeah.
And I relate to that, because like when I was your age, I did the same thing. My mom was just putting me out there, and I hated it, but you get on with it.
Yeah.
But then, like, now fast forward, it's like, no, I don't just get on with it when I have to do these things. So one day you won't hate them. You might hate it now, but it will serve you greater, right? And if you want to be prime minister, you've got to get on with it too, Missy.
Yeah. Public speaking is my game.
It is your game.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right, guys. You have to follow these two young ladies. Please share with you. I'll put everything in the show notes, but just quickly, ladies, what's your Instagram handles, your websites, Rana?
So Rapid21, one word. And then my website is coming soon too.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
And Aaliyah?
My Instagram is CodeMaishFlow, and my website still is in work in progress, but it's there. So it's underneath interadafrica.org.
That's awesome.
You'll find it.
Yes, they are getting an education in business, and business is not as easy as we all think it is. There is a lot to unpack. So I commend you both for getting an education, but also making such an impact in communities that you work for. So stay tuned, guys, and all the show notes will be there so you can get in touch with them. And thanks again, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.